going on, vinyl community? Welcome to another video with the Record Spinner. In today's video, I will be answering 30 questions for vinyl community content creators. Some time ago, a fellow VC member by the name of Richard McCook started a thread where he asked 10 questions for VC video makers, and then that was followed up with 10 more questions, and recently he did 10 final questions. And I had seen some of my friends jump on this thread, and I figured I would throw my hat in the ring. Now, I typically don't do these kind of VC threads, but this one is rather fascinating to me because I've been consistently churning out videos and content, but I haven't really lent any personal insight in regards to certain aspects of content creating. Plus, since I am celebrating 5 years of being a part of the YouTube vinyl community, I figured the time was just about right to open up the inner world of the Record Spinner. Now, these 30 questions were divided up into 3 different threads, 10 questions each, so it's either go big or go home. I'm doing 30 in one shot. So enough of the chit chat, let's jump into what this video is all about. Number 1, what is more important to you, views or subscribers? Honestly, I would say views, because subscribers are indeed impressive, especially if you have a high sub count, but at the end of the day, it's the views that really give the more boisterous kind of numbers. And just the fact that, for any video that one is to make, whether if it's a new subscriber or a returning subscriber, or same with like a new viewer or a returning viewer, those numbers just simply add up and up and up, and there's nothing that could possibly decrease that. And granted, I like things to be on the up, so I would say definitely without a doubt, views are more important to me. And also, not to think in a total capitalist vein, since I am monetized and I am a YouTube partner, more views equals the more frequent times YouTube cuts me a check. So definitely views. Number 2, do you have an optimal length for your videos? Now, typically, I try to stick anywhere between 15 minutes on average, or perhaps less, because I understand that when it kind of goes into 20-minute territory or beyond that, the subject matter really needs to be enticing enough to sit through it. Now, I would say anything that has like a central theme, like if I'm covering like 5 albums that are about so-and-so, or, an album analysis, or just one of those hypothetical what-if type videos, then those are destined to be within like the 10-15 minute mark, which is definitely digestible. But now, let's say if you go into like a monthly vinyl haul situation, that can easily go up to around 30 to 40 minutes, or in the case of when I do documentaries with the youngest members of the VC, those will go on for hours. But then again, those are dubbed documentaries for a reason because of the length. So definitely I try to stick to around like a 15-minute average for my videos, just depending on what it's all about. But then there's some exceptions where it kind of just has to go beyond that. Number 3, is it a chore making videos, or are you addicted to it, and do you still get nervous? So I can honestly say within the 5 years that I've been doing YouTube, and still to this present day, I still get very excited when it comes to new content ideas that I come up with, and I make it a priority to tackle those ideas. But the biggest obstacle, I would say, is just time management, because I do work a full-time job, 40 hours a week or sometimes more. So it's like on a given week I have to map out the game plan as to what time do I have for such and such, and can I squeeze in YouTube content creating time? Because even though I have a little bit of a backlog of content that's bound to go up, I still like to be several steps ahead. That way I can have as much planned out. That way I'm not stressing on making content, thus making it a chore. But that also sometimes goes hand in hand with how I feel about being nervous or not, because if it's a fresh idea that I'm excited about, I want to tackle it immediately, and there's always those sort of nerves in play when I am sitting in front of a camera. Hell, I was nervous making about this video because this is more discussion based. I'm not having to pull anything. I want to make sure my answers and responses are as fluent and make as much sense as possible. So there's all those things that run in my head, but once I hit the record button, it's just free flow, and it just kind of rolls off the tongue, sort of. So, despite me being nervous, even still to this day, 5 years on, it's almost like second nature at this point. Number 4, how do you react to bad/negative comments on your videos? Now, this is kind of a double-edged sword because when it comes to criticisms, I take them as constructively as possible because, I want to improve the quality of this channel as well as just the video quality as well. And that's something that I've seen some comments on every now and then. Like right now I'm filming on an HD webcam and then I film some stuff on my iPhone and such. So I would like to invest in a dedicated camera that is solely for YouTube. That way the quality of my content is consistent. But then there's comments regarding music tastes. And look, we all have our tastes, everyone is different and variety is the spice of life. I don't understand the logic when someone types up a comment saying, this band sucks, why do you listen to this band, listen to something better, as if that's going to make a major difference. And of course, I'm an easy target. My favorite band is Kiss. They're a band that you either love or hate. I understand that. But just know that any time that I see a comment saying Kiss sucks, why do you listen to Kiss? Deleted and ignored, out of sight, out of mind. Number 5, do you ever buy records just to show on your channel? Absolutely not. I always buy the records that I personally want for myself and what I'm seeking out. But with that said, there's some stuff that's kind of like priority or on the back burner. Now, let's say if there is a big release coming out, usually a box set or a long-awaited release, that I know that if I was to, let's say, unbox it or showcase it on release date, I will make it a priority to perhaps get that first before something else, because if I show it on release date, that's where all the hype and attraction is, and that is what gets the views, as I was talking about. Views are important to me, so, that's why if there is something big and notable coming out that, let's say, if I wasn't so passionate to showcase it, I would just hold off, a couple months down the line if there was a price drop, or I just get my hands on it later, but I don't buy records just to specifically showcase. Everything that I show is genuine to my music tastes. Number 6, how would you like to improve your channel? I feel like I kind of tackled this already with the bad and negative comments. I would say just video quality. I wouldn't say that it is by any means, like pixelated garbage. That's not the case. But there's some inconsistencies, filming on an HD webcam, doing the iPhone, or, just anything like that. That's why I would like to get a dedicated camera. That way I can do it for the monthly vinyl hauls, the videos where I'm discussing things, or even like when I do my trips with the youngest members of the VC, record store vlogs, anything. I would like to have something dedicated, and that I think would set a rather good benchmark for the future of the channel in terms of improvements. Number 7, what are your thoughts on live streams? So live streams can be fun if there is a central theme or plot that is being discussed. So let's say if it was like a roundtable discussion and we're talking like, top 5, Pink Floyd albums or something with like a sort of subject matter surrounding it, that can be fun to watch because everyone has, a chance to have their say and it kind of goes back and forth, back and forth. But when it's a bit of a free form type live stream and it's just people kind of jumping in and out, just discussing random things, that's where, my concentration just does not go with that, so I tend to kind of steer clear from those. But if there is, a central plot in line and everyone has their say, then that is where live streams for me have their appeal. Number 8, what is your most viewed video and are you surprised? So my most viewed video is my vinyl listening setup tour, the first one that I uploaded back when I started the channel in 2018. I did an updated video where I showcased, the new turntable that I got, new speakers and everything, but that video right now is currently sitting at 68,000 views. And personally, I am not really surprised because I feel like a lot of people tend to get off on watching setup videos and just seeing what each respective person has in their dedicated listening setups, just as a means of kind of comparing and contrasting, seeing what people have to say about the equipment. Because in some cases, if someone is looking to buy a piece of equipment, whether it's a turntable, subwoofer, speakers, preamp, you can kind of go off of those, listening setup videos to kind of gauge a consensus as to, is this particular turntable worth it based on what I'm personally looking for and based on what, others have said about it. So, not surprised whatsoever. Number 9, have you ever made a video where you have not been wearing trousers? Full disclaimer, I can't recall a video that I've made specifically like in this type of setup where I'm like sitting down on the floor with my collection around me talking to the camera, I can't recall a time I've ever worn trousers, because honestly the day has gone to shit when you have to put on pants. So there's that answer there. Number 10, how long do you intend on making videos? Honestly, as long as time allows me to. But I feel like there might come a day where I won't sign off on YouTube, but perhaps my productivity might decrease a little bit, because I do have my eyes on other avenues where I could put my abilities in multimedia to work, because outside of YouTube, I also do a little bit of journalism and other ventures. So I feel like the Record Spinner, while it did start out as a YouTube channel only, it has the potential to evolve further into what the next stage could be. What that stage is, I honestly don't know. I'm trying to figure that out for myself, but also time is a big factor, and getting a hold of these opportunities to write for certain publications, particularly Tracking Angle for Michael Fremer. If you are a vinyl collector in the VC, you know exactly who Michael Fremer is. It kind of leads into another opportunity, then it leads into something else, and so on and so forth. So basically, to answer that question, I know I went off on a small tangent. I intend on making them as long as time can allow. And honestly, at this point, I can see this perhaps going on for maybe another 5 years on top of the 5 that I've already achieved so far on YouTube. Number 11, do you ever get disheartened when a video you think should be popular is ignored? And if yes, give an example. I do get disheartened sometimes when certain videos that I make don't really kind of go off the ground, and it's usually videos that I was very passionate in making. And one of the videos that I made this year that kind of just fell flat was a video that I did talking about one of the recent Dream Theater official bootleg releases, which was live at Madison Square Garden 2010, and that was actually of a show that I was at. So just given the special place in my heart that Dream Theater has for being one of my favorite bands, the fact that I was at a show that did get an official release, the memories tied in with it, and then reviewing the show itself, I was all in on making that video, and the fanfare was just very minimal. Maybe it's because outside of the other types of videos that I make talking about other bigger bands, maybe it just kind of fell flat like that. And it's funny, someone left a comment saying, this video was really fun, maybe next time talk about pet sounds or something. Basically someone making a joke saying, if you do a video talking about this, it'll get more views. But, or sometimes if I discuss a band that's kind of indie or under the radar, and like I said, outside of the realm of bands that I normally talk about, whether it's, Kiss, Beatles, Zeppelin, big names that have a large demographic that it can appeal to, there is that little, damn, I kind of wish it caught on more. But yes, I do get disheartened sometimes when it comes to that. Number 12, how often do you check your subscriber count? Honestly, sometimes I might check it once a day or once every other day. It's nowhere near when I first started and I was checking like almost every hour religiously. Now it's just kind of like a casual thing where if I don't, check it on like, let's say a given day, I don't sweat it too much, but it's nice to be in the loop of where, the stats are currently standing, so I would say on average once a day. Number 13, how often do you ask people to hit the subscribe button? Every video, occasionally, almost never. Every video, because at the end of every video I say, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, give it a like, and subscribe to the channel. It rolls off the tongue, so every video ends just like that. Number 14, how do you feel when you lose subscribers, and what is the largest amount you have lost in one day? Now, honestly, I can't really give an exact number, but I remember I lost maybe 5 or 6 subs maybe when I had announced that I had a Patreon, and this was in March of 2020, and I just kind of saw it as the next step in the evolution of the channel. I ended up shutting it down just because, for a while it was rather fruitful, but then at some point, I was like, why am I putting in all this extra effort if it's just not really being embraced? And that doesn't fall on lack of support from viewers and such, because I always said that it's optional, and, I never really pushed it, aside from the mention, of, subscribe to the channel if you want to support the channel. Check me out on Patreon. I think maybe 5 on average, but I don't really lose any momentum when it comes to subscribers lost, because the way I see it, sometimes people either delete their, Google or YouTube accounts, or sometimes someone will purposely unsubscribe if, let's say, they're not a fan of the video, they don't want to tune into content anymore. But the way that I see it, especially at the rate that this channel has been growing, for every one subscriber that decides to unsubscribe or just disappears off of YouTube, there is always going to be other people down the line that are going to discover you for the first time and will be freshly subscribed. So I don't stress it too much. Number 15. How do you feel when people comment on your video and they obviously haven't watched it? For example, a comment comes in for a 15-minute video 1 minute after it has been uploaded. Very specific question. Honestly, I haven't really encountered that. Sometimes though, like, I will get comments, like, let's say if I did a video talking about, I don't know, Kiss Alive 2 or, something like that. Somebody will type up this big, massive, paragraph-long, novel-long comment just talking about their views on Kiss Alive 2 and how, it's great because of this or it's bad because of this. They just want to get their 2 cents in. I don't take offense to it, really. I'm just like, wow, they really got a lot off their plate. But honestly, that hasn't really happened to me much. Number 16, if you or already have hit the 1,000 subscriber count, will you monetize your channel? And if you are eligible for the thanks option, will you promote it? So I did hit 1,000 subscribers back I think in March of 2020, which was coincidentally when I first announced my Patreon that I then took down. I took it as the opportunity to monetize the channel because with how I approach my channel in the YouTube vinyl community, it is radically different compared to what most others do. And that is not a slight whatsoever. I just have my eyes out on something different. And that's making content similar to how guys like Matt over at Too Many Records does it, Vinyl Rewind, or amongst others that, have made a nice little platform for themselves doing what they do. And I like guys that do that. I like people that do something different. That does not at all exclude anyone in the general vinyl community because I enjoy watching other channels that just do it for the casual fun of it. But I also understand that the word monetization is a very dirty word in the YouTube vinyl community. And I feel like when I announced the Patreon and started monetizing my channel, I almost was excluded from the general, YouTube VC, and I was kind of just on my own. But then again, I flaunt it proudly because I'm trying to do something different within the YouTube vinyl community. But also, I am very, I would say, liberal when it comes to the placement of ads, because I will never put an ad right in the middle of a video just because I just see that as just a hassle, and it just takes away sometimes maybe the enjoyment of the video if someone is very invested. I'll just literally put them either at the beginning or the end, skippable, non-skippable, whatever, and I just leave it at that. I don't go too nuts with ad placements during a video because it's just annoying. And then as for the thanks option, I haven't looked too much into it, but if I was to, go down that rabbit hole, I guess it's similar to like a Patreon type of thing, but it's exclusive to YouTube. Maybe I would give it just like a passing mention, but I wouldn't like push it hard because, I don't like to do that kind of thing. If you want to show your support in that way, by all means, that's great. Or if you want to show your support in just simply watching the videos or hitting the subscribe button, that's totally fine too. Number 17, do you ever sub another channel just to try and get a sub back? And when you do sub other channels, approximately what percentage do you hit the notification bell? So I subscribe to the channels that I personally like and enjoy, whether it's down to the videos that they make, their music taste, what bands they discuss. I never do like a I'll sub to you if you sub back type thing. I don't go for that whatsoever. I like who I like. And then as for the notification bell, full disclosure, I would say there's roughly 5 to 6 channels that I've hit the notification bell to, and that's usually, close friends that I have within the YouTube vinyl community, or those that I generally think their videos are just always solid, and I always want to be in the loop as to, when they go up. So I would say 5 to 6, maybe 7 channels maximum, I hit the notification bell. Full disclosure. Number 18, how long do you think is an acceptable time to wait before replying to a comment if you reply to comments? Honestly, that's something that I am really trying to improve upon because I do get comments often and I try to be on top of everything and reply to almost everyone as timely as possible. Honestly, within like the same day that a video goes up and a comment is left, I will try to tackle it either on that given day when the comment is dropped or sometime in the next day or so. Sometimes, with like all of us, life is catching on and we all have things that we have to tend to. And, for as much as making videos is a priority for me, as well as devoting time to my day job and friends and family, the people that, take the time to type out a comment, that's something that is just like optional. It's not like a necessity type thing. And if they're going to put in the time to leave a comment, then the least that I can do is put in the time for a reply within either the day that the comment was put up or within the next day or so. Usually, like when it comes to me replying to comments, I'll do like several replies and a massive drop just to be on top of everything as efficiently as I can. Number 19, do you like Record Store Day? And if so, after buying Record Store Day items, do you feel the need to show them immediately, parentheses, in the car after leaving the shop/store, or can you wait to get home and open them before showing? So in terms of my thoughts on Record Store Day, it's alright. Honestly, the way I see it, it happens every year. And there's always going to be something that I am after. Now, whether I think the list is strong or not just depends on the year. But it is something that I do partake in, and I do get Record Store Day releases that I always intend on showing the day of Record Store Day because that's where the hype is. Of course, I'm going to show it while everyone else is watching everyone else's videos on what everyone got. What's the point in doing it weeks down the line once you've opened up everything, listened to everything? Sure, I feel like there's general interest there just to see what a certain person got, but always day of. Number 20, do you enjoy participating in and watching collaboration videos, but do you get put off watching if they go on beyond the 1 or 2 hour mark? I enjoy participating and watching collaboration videos. I've done some myself with the members of the Vinyl Community podcast community that I'm a part of. I've done collaboration videos with the youngest members of the VC in the past. Those are always fun because, it's like a round table. You see what everyone has to say regarding a certain subject matter, and it's cool to see other, people in the community in general just network and just collaborate together in making something that can be very enjoyable. But when it goes beyond the 1 hour mark, that's when I feel like it veers into live stream hangout territory, which, like I've said with my thoughts on live streams, I lose interest after that. So keeping it at roughly an hour, I think it will suffice. But if it goes into 2, it better be enticing enough for me to watch the whole 2 hours. Just me personally. Number 21, do you ever struggle to come up with ideas for videos? Absolutely not. I am always coming up with tons of ideas for videos. And as a matter of fact, sometimes, my friends will tell me, hey, you should do a video talking about this. Or in most cases, I'll do posts on social media and say, hey, let me know what you guys would like me to talk about and see. Because then that kind of gives me an incentive to kind of think outside the box a little bit. Because if someone says you should do a video talking about this, then it could lead to something else and so on and so forth. But it's honestly astounding that even 5 years into the game, I'm still coming up with, new, fresh content ideas. But I feel like that kind of comes hand in hand with the fact that we as collectors evolve with time. When I first started collecting records, I just wanted one copy of, an album that I loved that was listenable, and that was it. And then as time goes on, you want that mono pressing. You want that Japanese version. You want the one with the different cover. This one has a different mix. This one's a new mix. So on and so forth. And that right there lends itself, which is why, there could be a video about, 5 albums I own the most copies of on vinyl, or so on and so forth. So I'm always coming up with fresh ideas for videos, and basically the barrel never runs dry. Number 22, if purchasing subscribers was an option, would you partake? Honestly, what's the point in that? I like the idea of building a subscriber count from the ground up naturally, because then if you were to purchase it, it becomes fabricated. And what's the point in doing that? It loses its genuine qualities. So absolutely not. Number 23, do you like to mention how much you paid for your records? Honestly, I don't really see the means of doing that because that's my personal business. But the only time that I think I would mention how much I paid for something is if, let's say, I got a record that is worth, let's say, $200 to $300, and I managed to buy it for, I don't know, 30 or 40, just to kind of provide that basis of comparison, like based on what it's worth and what I actually bought it at. That is, I guess that's worth flaunting. But in general, for everything else, there's no real means of mentioning how much I paid for things. Number 24, are there genres of music you really don't like and would never show on your channel? There isn't really a genre that I don't like, but I will say I am far from being an aficionado on genres such as like hip hop, R&B, jazz, reggae, like things like that. But, there is not a genre that I would never show on my channel because I flaunt what I like proudly. And I'm into all kinds of things. I'm into classic rock, hard rock, progressive rock, metal, doom metal, shoegaze, alternative, indie pop, anything. Like, I'm basically musically bipolar pretty much. So if there is an artist that I like that is, in a genre that I don't really discuss too much on the channel, if anything, I'm more excited to talk about those records because it shows that my tastes are evolving and I'm becoming more multifaceted when it comes to music. Number 25, when watching other people's videos, do you ever flick through the video until you find an artist shown that you like? 9 times out of 10, no, because I like the certain individuals within the VC that I will make a point to watch all their videos regardless of what they're discussing. And that could be either given that we have the same music tastes already that I'm like, yes, I'm locked in, or sometimes the personality that they have that makes them entertaining to watch. The only time that I would say I flick through a video is, let's say, if it's someone new that I encountered within the YouTube VC and I scrub through and I see a record that I know that I definitely like, I'm like, okay, so there's a starting point. Let's see what they're all about. And then I'll go back to the beginning and watch the whole video. So 9 times out of 10, I don't, but I still kind of do. Number 26, what are your thoughts on shorts? So YouTube shorts are no different to TikTok videos, Instagram reels. Each platform sort of has their own sort of twist as to how they want to present shorter content. And I see those types of videos working best for a younger demographic because, let's face it, the attention span is the size of a gnat. So doing something compact within 15 to 60 seconds works well for a younger crowd. And in most cases, like, I'll usually cross post between TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube in terms of the shorter content. And in turn, on YouTube with shorts, that leads to more subscribers. I did a couple of, noteworthy YouTube shorts that brought on a fresh flood of subs that just saw that small video, and that'll entice them to watch my main content on the platform. So I'm all for them. Number 27, do you use the community tab for polls, etc.? So I use the community tab just mainly as almost the same, like I said, with cross-posting short videos on TikTok, Instagram, and whatever. I will use the community tab for like my social media stuff. So if I post a photo or something like a little blurb on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, I will also share it to YouTube. That way, for those that specifically are subscribed to me on YouTube and see my stuff only on that platform, they will see it. And it's not like you have to be following me exclusively on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter to see something. So I definitely utilize the community tab to its maximum capabilities, whether it's sharing photos with captions or even running polls for viewers and subscribers to have a say in perhaps a video idea or what goes up on a given week. Number 28, is there anything about your own videos you don't like? Yes, myself. Honestly, when I am done like editing a video, like I can at least withstand myself and my various nuances and things as I'm editing and filming. But once a video is done, I just let it go because I know that if I rewatch it, I will pick out almost every little nuance about myself that I can criticize and go nuts over. So it's a rather bold statement, but I would say myself. Number 29. Is there anything about other people's videos you don't like? Honestly, like, when it's just done casually, like you set up your camera just on a random spot and you just go about it, I'm just like, I think in the back of my mind, there could have been just a little bit more effort put into, filming a video. So like being in front of a dedicated setup or having a backdrop or something like that is nice. But when it's done in the most random locations, I'm just like, come on, really? It's very minor, and I try not to criticize people too much because, I don't roll like that. But sometimes like little things like that, I'm just like, that could have been executed just a little better. Number 30, if you were to stop making videos, would you A, shut down the channel completely, B, keep the videos live, C, make the videos private, and would you make an announcement that you would no longer be making videos? So if I was to stop making content, I would not shut down the channel because I am proud of what I have done with the record spinner. It's not something that I would want to wipe away off the face of the earth. I would keep my content live for everyone out in the distant future to enjoy. But as for an announcement, I probably would say something just so I could keep those informed, whether between my viewers, subscribers, fans of what I do, between both YouTube and writing, because I've developed a great rapport with these people that I would want to keep them in the loop as to what is kind of going on within my world and my reasonings and decisions behind, one day maybe not making videos, which, not gonna lie, I don't see that ever really happening unless it takes something really detrimental to occur where I would have to disappear for a short period of time. But I would keep you guys informed as to an announcement if that was to ever happen. But channel would still be up for everyone to enjoy in the distant future, and I would not shut it down. Not done yet. Bonus question. Do you check your previous video just to make sure you are not wearing the same shirt? Not necessarily, because when I film content, it doesn't go up on the closest, like, Friday that it goes live. Like, I have a little cue sheet of every, possible Friday in a given year, and I kind of modify and change it based on, putting up a dedicated Kiss content once a month, or putting out this unboxing because it's coming out on this day, so on and so forth. There might be the rare occurrence where, let's say, in one video I'm wearing a certain shirt, and then just coincidentally, based on when I decide to upload something else, I might be wearing the same shirt. However, if I was to film two videos in one day, I would change the shirt. It's just a minor OCD thing. Very minor, but I'm conscious on that stuff. So there you guys go. Those are 30 questions for vinyl community content creators. If you are a member of the YouTube vinyl community and you have not tackled this thread, please go ahead and do so. Provide some insight as to how you go about creating videos. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, give it a like, and subscribe to the channel. See, I did it right there. See you guys in the next video, and most importantly, keep the records spinning.